What's up, everyone? I am out here at Whatcom Falls Park, and if you are new to my channel, well, it's kind of documenting my journey and having to overcome a lot of odds, especially when it comes with depression and anxiety, and just trying to go for like a career switch. And kind of like my, I guess you would say, unorthodox approach when it comes to like dealing with depression, anxiety, and how I kind of like to use nature, or whether it's going on a hike, a walk, a run, or skiing, that there's more pronounced and better ways to kind of cope with depression, anxiety, or whatever else someone may be going through than just simply regular talk therapy and pharma medication. So as you can see here, I am kind of making my way over to this area over here. And another thing too, you'll notice that I think I've enabled Super Chat, and I know I kind of set myself back quite a bit with my recent GoPro that I bought, but I kind of consider that a really good investment, because without that I wouldn't be able to be making most of my videos. And of course, the next thing that I would like to focus on being able to upgrade is, of course, my phone. My phone is in serious need of an upgrade, and so that would be the next major investment that I plan on doing. Not only that, but I would actually be able to take pictures, better video quality, because right now I'm having to use selfie mode when I take my pictures and it's not the greatest quality. So as you can see here, this is a nice area. And see, that's the thing about this area. It's like about a 5-minute drive, or maybe about a 15-minute bike ride. And what's really cool about this area is it's great for swimming. As you can see here, I don't have the greatest shoes on, and there is a reason for that. Because you just kind of like just step in the water and just kind of go for a little walk. I just got to make sure I don't drop my phone, because that would not be very good. I'm just going in with my pants as is, but oh wow, this water is pretty warm. It is really warm. I don't want to get too deep, because I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to risk dropping my phone. And I'm going to see if I got any comments here yet. Okay, see if I got any comments here. Hey there, Marco Brusfero. It's going pretty good, pretty good. I'm just kind of enjoying this surprisingly warm water. I thought it was going to be a lot colder, because this water comes from mountain snow into Lake Whatcom, but I could be wrong. But that's where this water is coming from, Lake Whatcom, and it's a pretty big lake. And it is like, I almost want to say it's like bath water. And it's supposed to get really hot this weekend, for Seattle that is, and Bellingham too. I think in Seattle it's supposed to get upwards of like 102 degrees. That's what it was forecasting last night. It's supposed to be cooler up here in Bellingham, 91 degrees, which is still pretty warm. Warm enough to where it's going to be a great weekend to be going for a swim, or maybe doing some cliff jumping, or if I could find myself a paddleboard, which I'm probably going to have to do online, and I have to go the cheap route, of course. Probably have to go to Walmart route when it comes to getting myself an inflatable paddleboard, but that seems to be a really good sport for the upper body. I've been doing a lot of hiking, awesome for the legs, but I'm missing a core component for the upper body. Hey, Mohammed Jabril, I'm doing good. I am coming at you from Whatcom Falls Park, in case you're just joining in. And let's see, oh, it's a gazelle. Oh, this area is it's all 4 seasons. This is an awesome area to visit. I'm gonna try to see if I can get a little bit more courage to venture out deeper into this water here. Now, what I'm afraid of is I don't want to slip and drop my phone, because if I drop my phone, well, you'll notice that I will probably go offline, and then I will be hurting, in a sense that I would have to go and get a new phone. So I got to be super careful. And this rock is super, I don't know. I think I'm gonna. It is so tempting to want to go out further, but And I don't have a water, I don't think this phone is waterproof either. Oh, that water just feels just, unbelievably warm. I was not expecting that. But we've had a really warm spring, unseasonably warm it seems like, and yeah, we're having pretty unusual weather here for at least the western part of Washington. So this, whew, yeah. All right. All right. So yeah. So when when it does come to, I find that when it comes to dealing with anxiety and depression, I have tried a number of different medications. And I'm not a big fan of medications. And the reason why that is of course side effects. I feel like there's like 100 side effects to like every benefit there is to pharma meds. And especially because I've got, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I've got like an underlying, or supposedly I've got what's called biatrial dilation. It's mild, but that can cause some heart rhythmic issues, and medication can make that a lot worse. And I don't really feel like taking that risk of having like a heart arrhythmia due to some medication. So I take the medication if I have to with a lot of caution. And so hopefully I can get that heart issue addressed. More than likely it's because of years and years of high volume training, exercise, that I probably got enlarged atria, which can happen with training. And so that's probably what it is. If that's the case, then it's more of a benign condition, which I'm really hoping for. And another thing, before I go any further, I don't know if she's tuned in or not, but I want to say, I got to give a shout out to, she goes under the name of Sarah Corherd, I think is her name. And I got to give a shout out because I got a pranic healing session yesterday. Pranic healing is like this, what's the term for it? Like faith healing or energy healing, I think it's what it's like a form of energy healing, like Reiki and some other forms of energy healing. It was for 30 minutes. And I swear, I think that did a lot of good because I finally got, let me, before I go any further here, see if I got any comments here. Make sure I got everyone. Hello, RK, greetings to you too. Hope you're doing good over in India. All right, so what I was saying is, yesterday on the Poo Point hike, they have what the 40 plus singles hiking group has what's called a Chirico challenge. And it's pretty much, we try to go up the 2 mile, or it's under 2 miles, the trails up to the viewpoint in as fast as time as we possibly can. And my previous best last week was 34 minutes 5 seconds. Yesterday I had sorry about the sunlight, I'm gonna try to get more over here. Yesterday I had 32 minutes and 45 seconds. So I basically shaved 1 minute, over about 1 minute 20 seconds off my time. And of course that resulted in getting what's called, the group has what's called King of the Poo. So I'm still waiting to get my crown, but supposedly I've got, well, I do have the King of the Poo. And so now I think the competition's on. So whether I hold the King of the Poo for 1 day or a few hours, well, it's been a few hours now, but I'm just happy to be able to hold it for however long I hold it for, because that's just something that's pretty cool to have within a group, the King of the Poo. Maybe I need to get like a couple of like giant poo emojis. And actually I do have a couple, and I don't know, but as you can see here, this is actually a popular swimming hole right here. And you see these falls over here? You see these falls behind me? That's actually a nice rock hopping. You can jump into that water over there. Not too high, and it's kind of shallow, so you definitely want to land feet first. But I have seen people dive off of it. Not me, but feet first, you're good. You will lightly touch bottom. So that's one thing you want to be careful of. But this is a popular swimming spot on a hot day. And so I'm kind of keeping my block to this area, but I'm gonna go, if I become a little quiet, okay, hey name, I'm doing good. Yeah, I don't want to sip in here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna go to a different location now. And if I kind of become a little quiet at times, it's probably because I'm either coming across a group of other people, but it's like I'm just gonna act like I'm just like talking to someone on the phone. So it's not too big a deal, but I think I kind of show you guys some other parts of this park because I don't want to just stay in the one. But sorry for the sunlight. It's getting it gets a little bright in spots. So I'm gonna come over here and you can see the views over here. And hopefully you guys can hear the sound. So I'm trying not to cover the microphone because I think I've done that sometimes in the past where I cover the microphone on accident and then you guys can't hear me. And it could be the phone too. Like I said, that's gonna be my next major investment is the phone. And I'm getting a few, let's see who I got in here. All right, JF. How's it going over there in Pennsylvania? Oh yes, the hike I'm doing later on. Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, it's going to be up Rattlesnake Ledge. It's a hike that's by North Bend, Washington, and we're going to go up there and watch the moonrise over the peaks, and then probably stay up there until it gets relatively dark and watch the moonlight reflect off the lake down below and off the surrounding peaks. And so far, I think there's about 16 people. Sorry about, once again, I'm gonna turn around. 16 to 18 people showing up for this hike. So it could be more than that, but it's looking to be a pretty good turnout. So I got something, stop, explain, see, I got something about here, stop, explains it. Oh, okay, I'm getting, I guess someone's getting a little, but no, that's all, I think it's all good and the fun. Yeah, I mean, I live in an area where it's easy to take things for granted. It's kind of easy, really easy to take things for granted. And even myself, I catch myself kind of taking it for granted because I know a lot of you out there, you live in, I'm sure you've got your areas of beauty and your places to go to and where you can kind of like de-stress. But it's like it seems like up here, and what's probably drawing so many people to this area is, of course, places like this, the hikes that we have, especially along the I-90 corridor. You've got like Mailbox Peak, Mount Si, Mount Terranif, McClellan Butte, Rattlesnake Ledge. So you've got like literally hundreds of hikes just off the I-90 corridor, and that's just a small part of the state. Then you've got to look at North Cascades Highway, Mountain Loop Highway, and I've probably done less than like 1% of the total hikes in the western part of the state. So even myself, I've lived here, I grew up here, lived in North Carolina for a few years, then in Florida for a few years, and then came back here, and I've still yet to experience the hikes. And I got, well, here's the thing. Bellingham, staying up in Bellingham, if I want to get my own place, it's the most, how would I say? It's the most likely to be within my budget. Rent for a one-bedroom apartment in Bellingham for a decent place runs for a one bedroom is about $1,200 to $1,500 a month. Now, if I move south, say to Issaquah, Bothell, Kirkland, rent jumps to like $1,800 to $2,200 a month. So it's a pretty significant jump. I would obviously have to have decent income at that point to come in. And it's gonna be tough. That's kind of what I'm kind of worried right now, is I don't have much saved up, but I'm hoping that something, either I'll get really lucky and get at least a decent job in the interim until I get myself what I call my dream job. But there are housing assistant programs through like the VA that can kind of help with that first and last months, but they're kind of reactive, and meaning like they kind of wait till like you're already on the streets or like living in your car, or they don't really do anything proactive, which is kind of doesn't make any sense. Meaning like, well, you've got a roof over your head, you live in a college environment, well, you got a roof over your head, and I'm gonna come down over here, and I'm gonna kind of, I've got a crowd of people, so I'm just gonna kind of walk down. It's a little steep right here, so if I slip and drop my phone, you'll know why. And I don't have the greatest shoes on, so I'm kind of coming down here. It's awfully kind of steep here. I don't have the greatest traction. So what I was saying about my place where I live right now, they don't require first and last month's rent. And yeah, they're making like upwards of like $3,000 or more per unit. And it's like the cheapest rent around, but it's tame right now, meaning parking can be a little challenging to find. And it's the middle of summer. It's like the deadest part of the year in terms of like the student housing environment. Now come this fall, it's gonna be like an animal house. And I don't wanna be putting up with that. Not when I'm trying to get a career going, kind of work with my anxiety and depression, and just other issues. I don't wanna be in such an environment where it's like partying upstairs in the next room over. And these are like, these are like 18, 25-year-olds. If I were 20 years younger, I'd be like, all right, bring it on, you know, bring on the partying. But I'm in my middle 40s, almost getting into my upper 40s. I don't want to be around that. Parking's going to be a nightmare. Yeah, a lot of people are going to end up having to park in the park and ride to find their parking spot, and that's like a 5-minute walk. It's like, nah. So I'm just gonna probably have to rely on a higher power to really kind of help me get through it. And, you know, look to God up above and be like, okay, I've got I've got qualifications to go out there and get myself that job. I'm applying, so it's just got to kind of, I guess, have a stronger faith. See if I'm getting any more. And looks like I'm doing pretty good here. All right, so if I come up over here, making sure I don't. Yeah, so yeah, at least. Yeah, so it's one thing to kind of have a roof over your head, but at the same time, it's not the greatest when it's impacting your mental health. And I don't know, that's kind of why I've been putting myself out there, probably even getting way above my comfort zone when it comes to like doing these group hikes, because some of these hikes, they get pretty large. Like last night, for like this poo challenge, there are like over 30 people on the hike. Now, we don't all hike in one big group, but we all meet up top of the lookout area. And then we do like our group selfie, which has, I think last week I counted over like 33 people in the selfie shot. Hot sauce. To answer your question, do I think I'm above? Do you think? Hold on, I lost it. Let me see if I can find that question. I would say I'm probably a little above average in terms of like intelligence. Not to like brag or anything, but I'd say I'm at least slightly above average. I do know I like to overanalyze a lot of things. I kind of like to look at the more granular details, especially like when looking at data. So it's interesting because, like, for instance, here's an example. When it comes to like online dating is pretty much digital. You have your profile picture, you've got pretty much facts like how much you make, your height, your weight, what you do for a job, age, what you're looking for in a woman, or if you're a woman, what you're looking for in a man. And it comes down to like, how good a description do you have? How good are your pictures? And as a aspiring data scientist, machine learning engineer, if someone is a master in that field, they can master online dating. I kid you not. They would have the ability to create a model that would help them upload a photo that's predicted to get them more likes. They would choose the right wording and what to put on like their description, like certain keywords. And it would get this person many first dates, but would it get the person a second date? Well, it can help with the first, but it may not necessarily help with the second date, because when it comes to the second date, it all comes down to who you are as a person. But as far as that first date goes, a master in machine learning could master online dating. Okay, but that's just one example. And so that's kind of to answer your question on above average intelligence. And you'll see here, I am now over in a very popular cliff jumping spot. And sometimes one of my favorite things to do is I'll just kind of be doing a jog. See that rock right, get that rock right there? I'll jump onto that and then jump off that. Now, of course, this phone's not waterproof, and I don't want to risk losing it. So I don't think I'm going to be jumping off any rocks today, but hopefully in a future live stream, if I do manage to find a way to make my phone waterproof, you'll see me do a couple of leaps off these rocks here. This is a 20 off this one, and then that one across is 29 feet. That's a 29 footer across from me. So right off the top there, all the way down, 29 feet. And then here's something really crazy. Now, I don't want to get too close, but you see, I'm going to see. Okay, so, yeah, to answer, let me see. I got a question on here. I'm going to try to, let's see, to answer Janice B. Let's see, I'm just going to read it. Yeah, I won't necessarily want to answer that as of right now, but I'm just kind of letting you know that I'm acknowledging your question. Who is it? Yeah, Janice B. Yeah, that's, I get kind of, that question kind of, it's a little touchy for me, but and the reason why that is I don't want to be like, I don't like to come across it. I don't want to be labeled as someone that objectifies women. I think that's, and unfortunately, there are a lot of men out there who objectify women in that manner. And I may be taking it wrong, but I don't want to have. That's not what I'm after. What I'm really seeking is that intimacy, and so that's that partnership in life, a good part, like your best friend, partnership, intimacy. Because I know I get a lot of comments like, oh, you can just go down to Nevada, or you can just go down to the Bunny Ranch. It's like, that's just more degrading than taking medication. Now, as far as, I was going to show you something. Now, I don't want to get too close, because like I said, I'm not in very good footwear, but I'm going to try to point out something. I don't know if you guys can see that little small hole there. See that little waterfall down there? Okay, hopefully you guys could see that. But someone a couple years back, from this point here, they jumped into that small little hole. I kid you not. And I'm just like, if he had misaimed just out there, that wasn't bad. But you're not going to be finding me do something like that. I know I'm depressed and got anxiety, but I'm not going to quite end. I wouldn't want to end. That's not the way I would want to go out. That'd be too painful. And not to mention that, it's like, is it really worth taking that kind of risk to jump into something that's like 1.5 feet wide? It's like, I don't know. I prefer my high flying skiing adventures, and I'll stick to more open cliff jumps like you see here. So that's coming over here. See if I got any other comments here. Let's see if I got any. Oh, no, here's the thing. A checker cashiering, I did that for Target a couple years back for seasonal, and that was the most boring job. I tell you not. Super boring, super repetitive. The conversations you have with people are pretty, it's fun, because you're going to say like, hey, how's your day going? 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 Thank you for shopping. Thank you for shopping. And that just gets, time goes so slow, and I dreaded that so much that anytime that they ask you, say, "Hey, Donnelly, do you want to help us with doing what they call like go backs, where you put merchandise back on the shelves?" I'd be like, "Yes, yes," because then I could just be like, "Oh, okay, I'm just gonna kind of like stroll the aisles." It's like, okay, where does this item go? I think it goes over here, and it would make time go a little quicker. So, checking, and not to mention, you're on your feet 8 hours a day in the same spot. It's like a lot of checkers even have to like use like the some kind of like specialized footwear. So nah. Thanks for the thought, but grocery checking would be a painfully mundane job for me. I need See, and here's the interesting thing: when I'm working on my programming, whatever it may be, I've got the clock like sitting right on the right at the bottom of my computer screen. It's like the clock's like right there, but it seems like the time goes by quick, even though I've got the clock, the time right there. If I'm trying to complete something, like say I'm giving myself a challenge and I'm trying to see if I can answer like what would be a typical interview question, I'd be like, okay, how quickly can I do this? And like the next thing you know, it's been like a few minutes. Or let's say I'm trying to design like a game of chance, and I have to use like a bunch of while loops and if state, like control flow. It's like, well, holy crap, it's already been like an hour. Oh, gee, it's been an hour and 15 minutes. The time just, because my mind gets so in tune to what I'm trying to do that the time just, it seems like it just flies on by. So, yeah, any, anything that's repetitive or what do I say, mundane, it's not good for the mind. And plus, you gotta remember, you're dealing with customer service. It's it. Yeah, what was it say? Yeah, you're dealing with customer service, and I actually have a lot of respect for people that work in those kinds of jobs, whether it's checking, waitressing, waiters, people, physical therapists, even, because you're dealing with people that are stressed out or they're having a bad day, and then they take it out on you. So you've got to really, you got to have super thick skin, and you got to be in a good state of mind. Because I've seen a lot of YouTube videos of people like working at the drive-through at McDonald's, and I'm gonna kind of come over here a little bit. See it over here. So you have a lot of people that get like verbal abuse from customers, and I've seen some pretty horrific YouTube videos of where like customers will even like throw like their food back at the person at the drive-through window, and it's like even just watching that gets me riled up. And when you're in the heat of the moment, it's it's like, oh well, it's a lot harder to maintain your calm than what you would think. It's because when you're actually experiencing it firsthand, yeah, it's a whole different world if you're having to experience that kind of verbal abuse as a worker. And here's like an example. I worked at Stevens Pass this past as a holiday. It's called I did it as a holiday help to kind of help with the higher volume of people coming in. I was a boot fitter, but they made us do like 1 hour shifts where we had to like go out to the lift lines and make sure people were like wearing their masks. And I kind of turned a blind eye because people get shot over that. People have gotten like have lost their lives over mask disputes. And I know you're at a ski area, but still, it's like, is it really worth getting someone riled up over a mask? And yeah, I mean, it's. I know I wore my mask whenever I was in the line. I did my part, but having to tell someone else, and then if they don't do it, they like, and people kind of getting a little bit of an argument over it. It's like that's not the kind of stress I need. So I kind of I just kind of walked around like you see me doing now when I was doing that checking for masks. It's kind of like walking back and forth. And I might say the only time I would say something was like if a person was like completely maskless, and I'd be like, all right, can I get you a mask? But that's but it's like if someone was like no, nose is partly open, I'd be like, I don't want to. And uh, I, there was one time where a guest just gave someone, one of us, the middle finger, and my coworker was like, "Yep, thank you for saying I'm number one." But obviously, my coworker is probably in a much better state of mind where he could just like shrug it off, easily shrug it off. If you're dealing with any kind of depression, anxiety, that can make someone more irritable. So it's like, yeah, so I gotta stay away from customer service oriented jobs. Am I getting any other comments here? All right, so I'm gonna get make yeah. So someone's Janus B. I think me. I think that's an. I want to make sure I'm understanding that properly and just kind of go back and I think I do take a lot of energy from people around me. And if it's negative energy, like if they're having a bad day, it can get me really riled up. And I know, see, that's the thing. I know myself well enough that I shouldn't be in that situation. It's like, okay, well, how do you avoid that? How do I avoid doing something that I could potentially regret? Well, don't put myself in that situation. So I know see, over time, if you really know yourself well enough, you kind of got to know, what you can do, what you can't do. And so, yeah, it's just understanding who you are. And yeah, so what was I going to say today? I want to see if I got anyone else here. Meditation. Yeah, meditation. And talking about meditation, this would be like like right now, this would be like the perfect morning to come over here and say, let me kind of show you guys down here. So like you see those rocks kind of like down there, right down that way. If I can hear it, yeah. So right down there, you're kind of hidden away from everyone. That would be like the perfect rock to do some meditation. Just the sound of the water, away from my apartment, because my apartment, they're doing a bunch of construction nearby. You can hear the construction. So this would be like the spot for meditation. Or another spot, as a friend of mine in Kansas was mentioning, that every time I go on a hike, it's like I should spend at least 2 minutes, it's kind of like meditating to like the higher power. So I need to take her advice and start doing that for every time I'm like I do a hike and I reach the top, spend like 5 minutes just kind of like meditating and thinking like a higher power. So yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's right down over there. Yeah, and see, there is absolutely no one here, which is kind of, on a day like today, really surprising. Kind of cool though, but it shows that even in a place that's going to be super packed this weekend, it is going to be a zoo over here. There are going to be people partying. There are going to be people, uh, you know, smoking, drinking. I mean, it's going to be a pretty madhouse up here this weekend. So right now it's like the calm before the storm. Yeah. So, and there's already people on the other side there. So I'm not going to go that direction, but I'll try to get you guys a view from over here. But this is pretty much what the entire park is like. It consists of like trails like this. And as you can see here, I don't want to go down that way, but yeah, so that's like the swimming hole that you see. And I've actually seen in the fall, when they get like our heavy rains and the water comes from the mountains down here, this will actually become a lot more water coming through here. And I have seen people actually kayak down there. I've seen people kayak down that. So people do I've seen it. People actually do kayak down this stream. And that swimming hole there, I've jumped into it when it's the water's a lot higher and the water's rushing through, and that can be quite a bit, and that can be really interesting to do. Yeah, so someone was who was that was asking, live chat, name, do a video tonight. I'll try to do a video, but last time I did a video from that location, it kept cutting out on me. But I'll try it. It won't be a very long one. It'll be like a very brief, like couple minute video. I might do like see if I can actually do the moonrise part of it. But like I said, my phone's not the greatest, but I might just do a quick little, a really short live stream if I can get the actual signal up there. It's hit and miss, but, and that's the thing too, maybe with a newer phone, I might get better signal reception. That could be something to look forward to, but that will come in time. So I'm gonna kind of get myself over here, but as you can see, its park is a network of trails. There are like the ones you see me walking on now, or like they're more wider like this. And a lot of people come here to mountain bike, really popular for mountain biking. And I remember one year, I would walk behind here and I walked along this pipe here. I actually made a video of me doing that, and I called it like the confidence walk. That was on my old channel. Made a video. I was just kind of walking along that, but I was holding on to this too, and I was walking along this pipe here, and I called it the confidence walk. That was on my old channel, but like really a really popular spot here. Yeah, so I'm gonna kind of make my way back to my car because I do have, lo and behold, I do have an appointment at 10 o'clock over a Zoom to meet with my therapist. So at 10 o'clock, I gotta at least get back to my car and do my therapy session. And I don't want to, I don't really want to miss it, because then it's going to be like, oh, well, that guy doesn't need therapy or this and that. But I don't know, therapy, I feel like I get better therapy if I'm able to talk to like a friend, or if I'm able to talk with someone. That's better therapy than just talking to some therapist, you know, about my problems. So I don't know, I feel like these appointments, it's like they can make my day shot. And oh, Puspa 2512. Super shout out to you, Puspa 12. Thank you so much. Gotta remember that. Puspa 2512. Yeah, make sure you guys give him some love. Give him or her some love. Oh, that is awesome. Can't thank you enough for that. That's awesome of you. Thank you for wherever you may be at. I gotta make sure. See, that's the thing. Making sure I'm pronouncing that right. Germany, yes, from Germany. Greetings from Germany. Hello from Bellingham. Hope you're doing good over in Germany. I took German. I took almost a couple of years of German, and back in grade school. I don't remember too much of it, but I do. That's one place I want to go to someday. I want to go to Germany someday. I think quite a few of my viewers are from Germany, which is I heard they're really awesome. Oh, cat. Let's see, I'm getting another DW. Thank you. Keeping the faith. I'll do that, DW. I'll make sure I do that. I gotta keep the faith. That's what my dad was famous, or like really well known for saying to his co-workers and his like subordinates, was keep the faith, keep the faith. And from what my mom tells me, everyone pretty much loved my dad. He was like the uplifter. He put everyone in a good mood. He was super cheerful, and yet he was like he's like the boss of like I mean, he was super high up in his government position. Diplomat. He was like a diplomat, so he had like the diplomatic passport, diplomatic immunity, and there was something about my dad that everyone loved him, and he was probably a little too good with the ladies. I mean, I kid you not. He was just a little. He had charm. He had flamboyancy. So yeah, my dad was, and so hopefully I've inherited some of his character. But yeah, he was he was maybe a little too good with the ladies out there, because I think geez. But it's like maybe he just wasn't good at keeping a long-term relationship, because I think he married like four or five different times. But geez. And then he wanted to get back together with my mom. He tried to get back together with my mom, and he wanted to get my mom and I to move with him to San Francisco. And I'm kind of wishing that would have had happened because I was starting to get to know my dad when he before he passed on. I'd say I got something. I want to make sure I'm not missing any of my super chats here. So Puspa 2512 and DW. Okay, I can't thank you guys enough. Got to make sure I really acknowledge. And I'm gonna go back to my other chat here, make sure I'm not missing anyone here as well. Yeah. So I am slowly making my way back to my car. I'm gonna try to extend this to as close to, try to get this to as close to about 50 minutes or so. But I might as well, as I'm walking along, I'm just gonna kind of show you what this trail consists of. A lot of woods, and what's cool about this is you can get kind of, so you want to make sure you're not, so they don't want people walking up in there. So you want to read those signs, and they do have people patrolling. Now, what I wouldn't mind doing is what I really want to do is I want to volunteer for like search and rescue. I think that's what I'm going to do, because I know I've gotten a few suggestions for to do volunteering work, like volunteering at like a local like homeless shelter, and that's good. But I feel like being able to potentially like help locate and save someone's life, that would be pretty rewarding. So that's I gotta look into that, like search and rescue. If you're looking for like a stranded hiker or someone that's like stuck on a cliff, on a cliffside or something. And I think you're on call too, so it's like that would be like the perfect, search and rescue, volunteering for search. Plus, you get if you're in a search and rescue team, oftentimes you're hiking with other search and rescue people, and so that's another way to potentially meet people as well. Yeah, that's a good. It's like search and rescue. When you're hiking or looking for a lost party or a lost person, you're hiking in a group, and you would have the same mindset. You're volunteering, you're doing something for good, you're potentially going out there and saving someone's life. So I would think that's pretty rewarding. So I got to look into that, because especially like this weekend, with it being so hot, they're actually really concerned with people not taking the proper precaution and getting like heat stroke, heat exhaustion, and then you start getting dizzy. And that's when like a lot of tripping and like falls occur, because if fatigue sets in, people get dizzy, kind of uncoordinated. And so you gotta know the warning for heat exhaustion. Firefighting. Purpose, oh, that's a good one. Firefighter. Oh, that's another good one. And it's interesting. There always seems to be like animosity between like the paid firefighters and the volunteers, but it's like volunteering. But a volunteer firefighter, that would actually be, I gotta look, that would be another cool thing to look into. And, here's the thing too. I think sometimes even volunteer firefighters, I think they get paid a little bit depending on the district. I'm not sure. This is just what someone, one of my old ski buddies of mine I used to ski with back in my 20s, he would say like even as a volunteer firefighter, you get like $7 an hour or something. It's like $7 an hour to be a volunteer firefighter. That's not bad. That's actually pretty dang good. But I'm not sure. I could be wrong, because it's like volunteering usually means like you're doing it for free. But I don't exactly know how it works. But come down here. I think I can walk down here. Let's see. How am I doing on time? So I got about another 10 minutes before I have to cut on out of here for my therapy appointment, which I'm not looking forward to. I'm really not looking forward to but I also have to get going, because I gotta get home, make sure I gotta get a little more rest, because I got home, I didn't go to bed till like almost 3 o'clock in the morning. So I got like just a little over 5 hours of sleep last night, and typically I like to get at least about 7 hours. So I'm coming down here just kind of showing you guys that a lot of this park consists of like areas like this where people can kind of venture down, and it's kind of like have lunch, meditate, read, and this is fun. You can walk down in areas like this. So yeah, this is see this is one this see this is what brings people up to Bellingham. This is just one example of why people love Bellingham. This park, it's this park is one good example of Bellingham. Now, if I can get myself a paddleboard, and get myself a phone or at least a waterproof casing, so if I drop my phone, it won't it won't sink on me. Maybe do like a live stream like while on a paddleboard. That would be something to do. A live stream while on a paddleboard. And I've been watching some YouTube videos of this one woman, and her yoga is insane. I mean, it's like, how do you balance on your head on a paddleboard doing yoga? I'm just like, geez, that is some serious coordination. That is serious coordination. And yeah, I think she goes, Angela, I know it's Angela something, but I've seen a lot of her videos, and it is like, the yoga she does is completely insanity. I'm just like, yeah, and yoga is big up here in Washington State. A lot of people do yoga, and it's like, maybe if she, it's like, she could do like some yoga, she could do something like a yoga class on paddleboarding. I mean, it's like, I can barely balance on a paddleboard with my own 2 feet, let alone balance on my head while doing yoga moves on a paddleboard. That's insanity. But I think that's some serious talent there to be able to do that. It's like, oh man, it's like yoga while paddleboarding. So I'm getting off on a tangent here. I gotta make sure I get back to my car before I get to like, I'm at 47 minutes, and I don't want to be late for my appointment. Like I said, I'm not really looking forward to this. I see it as kind of like a, why am I doing it? You know, it's like this typical talk therapy. And see, that's the thing too. It's like after doing this live stream, it's like she's gonna be like, oh, you're having a good day today. It's like, geez. So I don't know. I think that's the problem with therapy. It's too generic. I feel like they don't really get to like the deep causes. And I find I'm looking away from sorry if I'm not I gotta look more at the screen. So before I want to give another shout out. So once again, I gotta thank, PASPA 2512 and DW. You guys are awesome. Thumbs up to you too. So but yeah, I'm kind of making my way back to my car here. See if I got any other comments here. And see, it was nice because it wasn't too crowded here this morning. So I'm gonna come over here. Yes, the queen's all within. Yeah, it's great to be out here in the outdoors. So I'm gonna make my way. I'm making my way. I'm gonna make my way back to my car. Show you guys. This is the bridge I'm about to walk across is super. I'm gonna let this person pass. I've got someone behind me. I'm gonna let them pass for a little bit. So yeah, this spot right over here. Now you see that like what looks like a slide there? I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah, so there was like this, they one time had the gate open for that. I'll actually walk over there. I think I can walk on now. So I'm just gonna, so it's starting to get a little live stream therapy. I like that name. Name mentions live stream therapy. I like that. I like that. That's pretty cool. Live stream, yeah, live stream therapy. So starting to get a little busier here, so I'm gonna go a little silent here for a little bit, but I kind of want you guys just to see the scenery. So that's kind of what I'm doing. Yeah, so and right now it's when it rains, those falls can get pretty big when it rains, a lot bigger than what you see now. But right now it's been so dry up here. Oh yes, I gotta keep that in mind. Bavaria, Germany. Bavaria, Germany. I'll keep that. Yeah, I someday want to. I really want to go to Europe one of these days. Germany, Switzerland, Sweden. Not only the hiking's got to be spectacular and super scenic, but the cycling and skiing. Yeah, it's amazing. I've never been to Europe. I've been to Colombia. Just been into Mexico, but that was just through right, south of the border. So I don't know if I would consider that being in Mexico, Canada, and I've been to Egypt. I went to Egypt when I was back in 1988. I was 11, and I still remember a good deal about that trip, visiting the pyramids, going down, getting a tour, going down with a tour guide into like the tombs of the pyramids. That was pretty awesome. But haven't been to Europe. So that's on the to-do list, going to Europe. So I'm gonna, yeah, so there's really nothing to see in the parking lot. So I just wanna make sure that I didn't miss anyone here, because I think I'm gonna cut this out. Yeah, so yeah, nature is definitely the key to peace. That is, having a partner in life, that's okay. Here's like, imagine like heaven. Heaven is being one with nature, and then like heaven, that's yeah, it's like if you can, it's like having a partner to share it with. It's like adding that extra component to like that magical feeling of being in nature. It's like that added magical component. But like, yeah, just as you say, nature in itself can be pretty getting into the sunlight, pretty awesome in itself. So I'm gonna make sure, because I think I'm gonna make sure I don't have anyone. Yeah, I've tried poo-poo the dude. I have tried edibles. I've tried both. I've tried the smoking and the edibles. I'm more of an edible person, but I go more with like the indica. I think that's the one that relaxes you. The sativa, I think it's more of like a stimulant, and I kind of get a little anxious when I do the sativa. But I'm more of like the indica, maybe more of a cross between the two might be ideal. But yeah, I'm more of an edible kind of person. I'm not too much into the smoking. I want to try microdosing on mushrooms, magic mushrooms. A couple of one of my good ski buddies I used to ski with actually does microdosing, or they tried mushrooms and they had a really positive experience with it. So yoga, yeah, just natural herbs, supplement, stay with the natural herbs, stay away from those pharma meds. And I've got I'm gonna have to get going because my battery's at 20%, and I'm not gonna have enough of my therapy session if I have too little battery left. So I just want to make sure I'm not missing anyone here. So name, Cheryl Kennedy, yoga, yes. And I got to give one final shout out to my super chat here, Puspa 2512 and DW. I can't thank you guys enough. Greetings to all of you in Germany, and make sure I got the other one here. DW, keeping the faith. Yeah, I'm gonna keep the faith in my father's name. Keep the faith, DW. So I'm gonna kind of say so long to all of you, and I'm gonna be back at you guys with more action. So I hope you guys have a great, awesome day wherever you guys are at. But I have to cut it short for now. So thank you all for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next live stream. So thank you once again, all of you out there. And yeah, once again, yeah, thank you for all your continued support. You guys are all awesome. And I'll see you guys, hope maybe a little later on today, but if not, you guys will see me soon enough. Later, everyone. Have an awesome, great day. And once again, signing off for now. Peace out, all of you, and take care.